Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the English Leap podcast, the place where we help you bridge the gap between learning English and actually living in English. I am your host, and today we have a very special, very practical topic that is often ignored in traditional language schools. Usually, we focus heavily on grammar rules, vocabulary lists, and reading comprehension, which are all important, but they miss a crucial element. Today, we are going to talk about how to train your mouth to speak English. We are going to treat speaking English not just as an intellectual activity, but as a physical activity that requires muscle memory. To begin, we must understand that speaking a language is a physical act that involves complex coordination between your brain and your muscles. When you speak your native language, you do not have to think about where to place your tongue or how to shape your lips because you have years of practice. Your muscles know exactly what to do. However, when you switch to English, your mouth is asked to make movements it is not used to making. This is why your mouth might feel tired after speaking English for a long time, or why you stumble over words. Today, we will fix that. Think of your mouth as a gym, and your tongue, lips, and jaw as the athletes that need to be trained. If you went to a gym for the first time, you would not expect to lift the heaviest weight immediately. You would have to train your muscles slowly and consistently over time. The same logic applies to speaking English. You cannot expect to have perfect pronunciation and speed if you have not conditioned the muscles in your face to move in the specific ways that English requires. The first concept we need to explore is the idea of muscle memory. Muscle memory is when your body remembers a movement so well that you can do it without conscious thought, like riding a bicycle or typing on a keyboard. Our goal in this podcast is to build muscle memory for English sounds. We want your tongue to automatically go to the right position for the TH sound or the R sound without you having to stop and think about it. This is the secret to fluency. Fluency is physical automaticity. One of the biggest obstacles for new English learners is that they try to speak too fast before they have developed this muscle memory. When you rush, your muscles panic and revert to the positions used in your native language, which results in a heavy accent or unclear pronunciation. To train your mouth, you must first give yourself permission to slow down. Slowing down allows your brain to send the correct signals to your mouth muscles. Accuracy must come before speed. If you practice slowly and correctly, speed will come naturally later. Let's discuss a very powerful technique called shadowing. Shadowing is perhaps the most effective way to train your mouth muscles. The technique involves listening to a native English speaker and repeating exactly what they say, almost at the same time. You are like a shadow, following right behind them. The key here is not just to repeat the words, but to copy the emotion, the speed, the pauses, and the melody. You are not just learning words, you are learning the physical rhythm of the language. When you practice shadowing, you should start with short sentences and simple audio. Do not try to shadow a fast news report immediately. Find a podcast like this one, or a slow English dialogue. Listen to a sentence, pause the audio, and then repeat it. As you repeat it, pay close attention to how your mouth feels. Does your tongue touch your teeth? Are your lips rounded or relaxed? Becoming aware of these physical sensations is the first step toward mastering them. Another excellent exercise for training your mouth is reading out loud. Many students read silently in their heads, which is good for comprehension, but it does nothing for your speaking muscles. When you read silently, you might imagine you are pronouncing the words perfectly, but when you try to say them, they come out wrong. You must read out loud to bridge the gap between your mind and your mouth. Commit to reading one page of a book or one article out loud every single day. In English, we often use our mouths quite actively compared to some other languages. By exaggerating the movements during practice, you are stretching the muscles and making the standard movements feel easier during normal conversation. It might feel silly to make funny faces while reading alone in your room, but this exaggeration is a powerful training tool. Let us talk about the position of the tongue, specifically for difficult sounds. Depending on your native language, the English R and L sounds might be very challenging. This is purely a physical challenge. For the L sound, your tongue must touch the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth. For the R sound, your tongue pulls back and does not touch the roof of the mouth at all. Practicing these specific movements in front of a mirror can be very helpful. Watch your mouth to ensure it is doing what it is supposed to do. A fun way to drill these specific movements is through tongue twisters. Tongue twisters are phrases that are difficult to say quickly because they require rapid, similar movements. For example, she sells seashells by the seashore. This forces your mouth to switch quickly between the S sound and the SH sound. Athletes do drills to improve their agility. Tongue twisters are agility drills for your mouth. They force you to focus intensely on articulation. You should pick one tongue twister per week and practice it until you can say it perfectly 3 times in a row. Start very slowly. She sells, shells. Make sure every sound is crisp and clear. Once you have the clarity, then you can increase the speed. If you stumble, stop and start again slowly. This builds the neurological pathways from your brain to your mouth, making the transition between sounds smoother in everyday conversation. Another aspect of training your mouth is breath control. English is a stress-timed language, which means the rhythm depends on which syllables we stress. To produce these stress syllables correctly, you need to use more air. If you speak with shallow breath, your English might sound flat or robotic. Practice taking deep breaths and using that air to push out the important words in a sentence. This adds power and clarity to your speech. Let's discuss the schwa sound. The schwa is the most common sound in English. It is a very relaxed sound, like the in about or the e in taken. To speak English naturally, your mouth needs to learn how to relax completely to make this sound. Many students try to pronounce every vowel clearly, which sounds unnatural. Training your mouth to relax and make the schwa sound is just as important as training it to work hard for other sounds. Now, let's look at the connection between listening and mouth training. You cannot produce a sound that you cannot hear. This is why listening practice is vital for speaking. When you listen to this podcast, try to visualize the speaker's mouth. Imagine the shape of their lips. This visualization helps prime your own motor neurons. It is a technique used by professional athletes who visualize their performance before they compete. Visualize yourself speaking perfect English. A great daily routine you can establish is the 2-minute talk. Every morning or evening, stand in front of a mirror, set a timer for 2 minutes, and just talk. You can talk about your plans for the day, what you ate for dinner, or your opinion on a movie. The topic does not matter. The goal is to keep your mouth moving in English for 2 continuous minutes. If you get stuck on a word, do not stop. Try to explain it a different way. During this 2-minute talk, observe yourself in the mirror. Do you look tense? Is your jaw clenched? Try to consciously relax your facial muscles. Speaking English should eventually feel comfortable. If you see that you look stressed, take a breath and smile. Smiling actually changes the shape of your mouth and can make the tone of your voice sound friendlier and more open. It physically lifts the soft palate at the back of your mouth. Recording yourself is another essential tool for training. I know that most people hate the sound of their own voice on a recording, but it is the honest feedback you need. Record yourself reading a paragraph, then listen to it. Compare it to a native speaker reading the same text if possible. You will hear exactly where your mouth is failing to make the correct sounds. Maybe you are dropping the S at the end of plural words. Maybe your vowels are too short. When you listen to your recording, do not be critical or mean to yourself. Be an objective scientist. Note the errors and then record it again, trying to fix those specific points. This loop of performance, feedback, and correction is the fastest way to improve any physical skill. You are acting as your own coach. Over time, you will hear the improvement, which is incredibly motivating. Let us discuss the concept of flow or linking. In English, we connect words together. We do not say stop it. We say stop it. We do not say black eye. We say black eye. Your mouth needs to learn how to slide from one word to the next without stopping. This is like learning a dance routine. You are not learning individual steps. You are learning how to flow from one move to the next smoothly. To practice linking, look at phrases that end with a consonant and start with a vowel. These are the easiest to link. Wake up becomes wake up. Practice saying these phrases as if they are one single long word. This requires your mouth to keep moving and not reset its position between words. It saves energy and makes you sound much more fluent and native-like. It is also important to train the muscles of your lips. Some languages rely mostly on the tongue, while English uses the lips quite a lot, especially for sounds like W, B, P, and F. If your native language does not use the lips actively, your lip muscles might be weak. Practice blowing bubbles or making exaggerated O and E shapes with your mouth to strengthen these muscles. It sounds funny, but it works. Consistency is more important than intensity. It is better to train your mouth for 10 minutes every day than for 3 hours once a week. Your muscles need daily activation to retain the memory of the movements. Make it a habit. Maybe you practice your shadowing while you drive to work, or you read aloud while you cook dinner. Integrate this physical training into your daily life so it does not feel like a burden. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are just evidence that you are pushing your boundaries and training your muscles. If you never stumble, you are not learning. When you make a mistake, simply pause, reset your mouth, and say the word again correctly. Do not apologize. Just correct it and move on. This builds resilience and confidence. Remember that hydration is important for speaking. If your mouth is dry, your tongue cannot move smoothly and you will make clicking sounds. Drink plenty of water before you practice. It keeps the tissues in your mouth flexible and makes the physical act of speaking easier. It is a small detail, but when you are training muscles, every detail counts towards your success. We must also talk about the psychological aspect of this physical training. Sometimes your mouth knows what to do, but your nervousness tightens your muscles. This is why relaxation is key. If you feel nervous, your throat tightens and your voice gets higher. Before you speak, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and breathe. A relaxed body produces a relaxed, confident voice. You are building a new identity when you speak English. You might feel like a slightly different person because you are using your body in a different way. Embrace this. Enjoy the feeling of the new sounds. Enjoy the vibration of English in your chest and throat. When you start to enjoy the physical sensation of speaking, you will want to practice more, and you will improve faster. To summarize our lesson today, speaking English is a physical skill that requires muscle memory. You need to train your jaw, lips, and tongue just like you would train your legs for running. Use techniques like shadowing, reading aloud, and tongue twisters to build this fitness. Record yourself to check your progress and focus on linking words together smoothly. Be patient with yourself. Muscle memory takes time to build. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the English Leap podcast. I hope you now view speaking English in a completely new way, not just as a mental test, but as a physical training ground. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a lesson. We release new content designed to make you fluent, confident, and ready for the world. Now I have a challenge for you. Immediately after this video ends, I want you to find a short text in English and read it out loud for 5 minutes. Focus on your mouth. Feel the muscles working. Start your training today, and your future self will thank you. Until next time, keep practicing, keep moving your mouth, and keep leaping forward in your English journey. Goodbye.